C'è una cosa che mi chiedo da sempre, se quando canta pensa solo a me, oppure a un altro man. Do you amare me? 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 Do you amare proprio me? Another love, another life. Ma c'è una cosa che mi chiedo da sempre. Do you amare me? Do you amare me? Do you amare me? Do you amare solo me? Oh baby, amore mio. Do you amare me? 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 Do you amare proprio me? Oh baby, amore mio. Oh baby, amore mio. Do you amare me? Oh yeah. Really good.
All right. Hello, 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 people of the stream. Hi. How's everybody doing? Sophia and Anita over on Twitch. We'll see if anybody shows up on YouTube since I'm like an hour off almost. I did get on a little earlier. I had a dental cleaning this morning. So I actually got home sooner than I thought I would, but I took some time to have some food. I figure you guys wouldn't have a problem with that. So I had some food. I have no idea what I'm working on today, but I'll work on something. I've still got Dragon Con stuff to do from yesterday, and I have to continue the multiverse. That's the wrong way. There we go. I have to continue the multiverse gigantic survey of doom. So I'll probably work on that first so I can get it out of the way, because I'm breaking it up into, I put in a couple tracks a day, because otherwise it can be incredibly overwhelming. So yeah, so if I do 1 or 2 tracks a day, I'll be done by like Sunday, probably Sunday or Monday. And then I'll have Holly and the co-chairs and the directors to go in and check out their sections, and just to make sure I didn't like do any typos or miss anything that needed to come out or anything like that. And then it should be ready to go out to guests on the 15th on their monthly update. So let's see. Jay has joined us over on Twitch. Hi, Jay. Good to see you. How goes your carnival costume? Did you work on it more? That was really cool. Emily! Emily has joined us on YouTube. Huzzah! Thank you for coming in. I was kind of afraid that because I started later than usual that, like, nobody'd show up. But happy to have you here. Emily says, present! But we'll mostly be lurking doing day job stuff. Completely fine. Completely fine. I hope you're very effective in your day jobbiness. So I'm going to move Pixie over a little bit so that she's kind of over my shoulder. So I thought this was a really cute little activity to be doing on Spirit City, because look at how he's grinning. Like, he's got his little eyes side, like, you know. So anyway, I thought it was really cute. So he's clearly singing. He's clearly singing along with my little chick who's playing guitar. Look at her looking at him like, okay. Let's see. Daniela! Daniela has joined us on Twitch. Looky there. So I guess YouTube going down yesterday got us a new Twitch person. I'll need the sprint motivation to go make dinner. Pasta salad. I think that sounds good. Yes. Yum, 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 yum. Do it. Do it. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. My dental cleaning went well. I have a bad history of dental stuff because I didn't have dental insurance until I was 30. So yeah. So it's been a challenging ride, and but it was a good cleaning today. No problems at all. There's a little bit of sensitivity like right here, but I had eaten like a chip or something. You know how sometimes when you're chewing, like a piece of something will turn sideways and get caught somewhere. You know what I mean? It happens a lot. Not a lot, but it happens like with chips and sometimes like seeds and stuff like that. But yeah, I had gotten a chip turned sideways and it poked. So I think it was just sensitive because of that, because that just happened like a day and a half ago. So yeah. Oh, Daniela says, I'm not being rude, by the way. I did say hi above. Oh, I did not see that. I missed it. That's me. So Daniela said, hey, I hope you and your teeth are doing well. We are, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Also, Sophia finished her goals and transformed most of them into habits. Yay. Yay. Sophia now says, I'm getting my tax rebate soon. I'd like to buy new bookcases. I love that. That's awesome. Jay says, glad your cleaning went well. I shudder at the amount of dental work I need, and I have insurance. Yes. Well, as soon as I got insurance, I started going to the dentist. And then after the pandemic, when lockdown stopped, like, because I was in such like a trauma loop with the house stuff and everything, and then all of that happening again, there was a time period after lockdown that I wasn't going to the dentist. I wasn't taking very good care of myself, period. Right. So I had to bounce back from that. But this was probably the best cleaning ever. Like, you know, those of us who have bad teeth or struggle with our dental health, like bleeding gums is not uncommon. And it only bled right here. And like I said, that was already sensitive from, you know, eating trauma. So I feel like that was a good cleaning. And my dental hygienist, her name is Kita. And her hair, she had, her hair was curly today and it looks so good. And so, yeah, so I love her. But she was super proud of me, and that's what I live for. I live for people being proud of me. So that's, yeah. Anyway. So what are you guys working on today? Jay says, struggle with dental health, raises hand, my lovely insurance. I'm assuming there's more to that sentence, that talks about how awful your insurance is. So, I mean, Ty Tridle, do you believe that one cannot finish a story or book if they do not already know its total conclusion or final end? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not believe that someone cannot finish a story or book. I believe that you can start writing a story and not know where the ending is and get to the end. I mean, I'm not going to say without a problem because, you know, in writing, there are always struggles in writing. But yeah, you can absolutely finish a story or book without knowing what the ending is. I think personally, having done it both ways, I think it's easier to at least have an idea of where you're trying to go. Like I have stories where I have a general idea of what the ending is, but I don't necessarily know the specifics and I don't necessarily know how I'm supposed to get there. But having a destination helps me not meander too much. So, you know, it's not that it can't be done. Obviously, there are probably thousands and thousands of writers who do it exactly that way. For me personally, I do better if I have at least an idea of what the ending should be. So, and usually when I'm writing a story, or usually when I'm first coming to the idea, I do have a general idea of where I want to go. And it might get a little bit more specific as I write the story. I'll be like, okay, now I know. Or it may change. And any of those ways is okay. However you get to the end of the story is perfectly fine. Also, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Thano is here. Hello, Thano. Thano trips, tumbles, flips, and fumbles with the booms of thunder out of a silvery mist made up of letters, symbols, and numbers. TJ falls comedically down through the air and face plants the boop button with dramatic flair. You do everything with dramatic flair, and it makes my heart so happy. Welcome in, Thano. TJ has arrived. Jay says, yep, it sucks. Yeah, all insurance sucks. All of it. Anita says she is working on the vampire story again, I think. We do love a vampire story. Alicia has arrived over on YouTube. I got to pop in on Morning Pirates for like 20 minutes. I was like, I gotta go, but I wanted to say hi. So Alicia says, hello, Vanessa. Hopefully your appointment went well. It did, my friend. Thank you. I'm about to get lunch. Taquitos. Oh, I love taquitos. I love taquitos. And reading today's pages of Throne of Glass. Excellent. Thano says, I've stopped writing books before. I have also stopped writing books before. Oh, wait. I turned the sound down on the dragons because it was super loud. So let me turn it back up a little bit more. Okay. Oh, we are so close to leveling up. So close. Okay. Thank you, Daniela, for feeding Pixie. So I turned the sound up a little bit more, so hopefully it'll be a little louder. I know it wasn't very loud that time. Let's see. Sophia says, I think you can finish a first draft without knowing the end. I don't think you can finish your last draft without knowing the end. Yes, true. Okay, now I'm going to turn it down. There we go. All right. I feel like we are now level 21. Huzzah. Huzzah! And that one was Anita. So thank you, Anita, for getting us up to level 21. Thank you for Daniela for your first feeding of Pixie, because I'm pretty sure that was your first one. So yay. Okay. I agree with Sophia. You can finish the first draft without knowing the ending, but you cannot finish the last draft without knowing the ending. That is excellent. Dana says, I can't finish a book without a plan for what I hope the characters to reach. And that is also completely valid. So much of writing depends on how your brain works, and that took me a long time to figure out, because I'm like, oh, I should be able to write every day, because they say if you don't write every day, you're not a writer. I am not a person who writes every day. Even at my best, I wasn't always writing every day. Now, I would have a day where I would spend 4 hours just writing, and then I would have a few days where I don't write at all, And for me, it really was about just working through the story, however that looked. And also keep in mind that the number of words you get is not the only aspect of writing. When you're sitting there thinking about your story, that's also part of the writing process. So just because you're not getting words on the page, not that anybody asked for this advice, but I'm giving it anyway, because that's just one of my things I do. But even if you're not getting words on the page, that doesn't mean you are not engaged in your writing process. Just saying. Jay says, going back to the insurance comment, I'm assuming, our insurance pays in full for the dentist to tell you what's wrong, for the x-rays to confirm what the dentist said is wrong, cleaning with that glorified toothbrush, and for the oral surgeon to yank out what's wrong after the dentist says they can't save it. Everything is a copay, and that copay sometimes is a rent payment. Ha ha, the life of a state worker. I mean, I think that's the life of a lot of workers, if I'm being serious. And also, the whole piece where dentists are only open during regular business hours in most cases. So not only do you have all that mess of the insurance and paying and like whatever, you've also got to take off work to go do it. So it's just like, ugh. Anyway, Ty says, but you still hesitated a little when you said what you had about not being able to know the ending, and then curved that statement with how you need a destination for which to be an end. Right, for me. That's my process. That's not everybody's process. My process. Like, I usually, when I say a destination, I don't always mean that I know exactly what's going to happen at the end. What I mean is that I know where I know the message I want the story to send. Right? I understand, I know how generally I want to, I know the feeling that I want the reader to leave the story with. That's what I mean by destination. I don't always mean I know exactly what's going to happen, because I don't always know. It's more like, okay, I know the villain is going to be defeated, and I know so-and-so and so-and-so are going to be part of that defeat. That doesn't mean there's not going to be 4 other people part of that defeat. It doesn't mean that one of those 2 people who are part of that defeat isn't going to get killed during that. Like, it doesn't mean any of that. It just means I have a general idea. I know the direction I'm going in. And again, that's the way my mind works. I have friends who are 100% pure pantsers. They sit down, they have no idea where they're going. And that's just as valid a way as the way I do it. Just because I hesitated a little, my hesitation was in trying to frame it, in trying to think about, think about how to convey what I was trying to say, which I clearly didn't do very well because it did not come across properly. Anyway, Jay says it will either be the alt history that she's going to be working on, and the alt history in the cult, or my short with the guy that won't leave my main character alone. Creepy dude. Daniela says, I first clicked in the carrot, but that was unavailable for some reason. I didn't expect to collect the points that quick. Yeah, you collect points as you stay on. You'll also, if you just keep an eyeball on it, every once in a while, and I want to say it's probably once an hour or maybe once every 2 hours or something, a little button will come up, like a green button that kind of jiggles. And if you click that, you get an extra 60, like 50 or 60 points or something. Emily said, I stopped reading a book I really liked like 95% of the way through it because I was 99% sure I knew how it was going to end, and I knew I wouldn't like that ending, so I just stopped and accepted my headcanon happy ending. I still feel guilty about never finishing it sometimes, though. I mean, that's also a valid response. Rethinking of being writing too, I do my best writing in the shower when I have no way to write it down. Haha, go figure. Yeah, but if you keep your phone somewhere and you use Siri or you use Google or whatever, you can always go, hey Google, make a voice note or turn on a voice note and like say your thing. Okay, why didn't the lurk command go through the way it's supposed to? Okay, so Thano went lurky lurk, but the lurk command didn't work. Huh. Oh, but there is a hydrate. I actually don't have any water in here, but I do have decaf tea, and that counts as hydration. Also, if any of you purchase one of the rewards, say something in the chat also, because so I have two different windows that I can look at for the chat. One is just Twitch, and that's where I see any rewards that y'all purchase. And one is the multi-stream, which has the chat from both Twitch and YouTube, but it does not include those. So if you purchase something from the rewards, then if I don't do it or say something right away or whatever, just, you know, give me a heads up that I missed it and I'll double back. I don't know why the lurk didn't work. I don't see it anywhere. Okay. Oh, wait, there it is. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. It's right there. Never mind. The lurk worked. Alicia says, I hate going to the dentist, but I need to go to mine soon. I just hate it because I feel like they always find something. They do always find something. But what's important to me with the dentist is that they don't make me feel bad for them finding something. That's my, like, if they try to put a guilt trip on me or make me feel bad or whatever, then they're not the dentist for me. Mine, we've been with ours ever since we moved here. So like 15 years, almost 20 years. And I love her. She's awesome. And when I first started going to her, like she was absolutely non-judgmental. She did say, you really should work on this. You really should work on this. Right. But now she razzes me. We razz each other back and forth. So, you know, we have a relationship, but her goal is never to make me feel bad, you know, and that's what I look for in a dentist who seeks to not make me feel bad. Instead of saying, oh, you've done such a bad job with your teeth, they're like, okay, this is the situation. Let's talk about how we're going to fix it and avoid the same situation in the future. It's much more about problem solving than an emotional, without that emotional component. And that's what I look for. And if a dentist doesn't have that, and I'm like that with all of my health professionals, if the way they interact with me does not work for me, I fire them. Because I don't, like, there are all kinds of medical health professionals out there. I will find another one. So, yeah. Sophia says, for some people, the first draft is like a very long and detailed outline. Also true. And for some people, the outline is like a very condensed first draft. That's me. Let's see. Ty says, that statement is beautiful, but yet sad. To Emily, I hope you like your ending. That is why it's beautiful to me. Oh, that's what this is about. Okay, gotcha. What is not be how books ed badly or written badly today? Yeah, and I mean, there are crappy books. There have always been crappy books, but because it's easier to publish books, there are a lot more crappy books, but that's okay. That's okay. That's what makes word of mouth so much more powerful, you know, with advertising. Which, I'm not gonna lie, Matt Dinniman, Dungeon Crawler Carl, he really made that very clear. Because he, for the first couple of years, just gave his book away. I never saw him actually sell a book at a con. I only ever saw him give the book away. So that created word of mouth. So Sophia says, and this is why I don't like making a hard line between planner and pantser. Yeah, I think most writers are some sort of a hybrid between the two, because it's really a spectrum, right? And the other piece too is you can do it one way for one project and a different way for a different project, because the projects also, the stories also inform how you create them, right? So yeah. Heather has joined us. Hey Heather, how you doing today? Heather's lurking for a bit while doing some admin. Sounds good. I have admin to do today too. Alicia says they always find issues that are so urgent to take care of, and that costs tons of money. I feel like they do it on purpose. I don't trust dentists. I think you need a good dentist. I think the problem is you've not had a good dentist. I've had a couple good dentists. I've had also really bad dentists. I had a dentist when I was a kid, and this really informed a fear of dentists as a child. I'm not afraid of dentists anymore, but as a child I was, because I had a cavity, and I was probably 9 years old, and he was filling the cavity, and his drill slipped and hit my tongue. Yeah. I mean, I still have, like, it still sometimes hurts. Like, it has, kind of an ache to it. So yeah, so like, I totally get not trusting the dentist, but I also, like, you're not stuck with the first dentist whose office you walk into. You can find another dentist. Ty says, a destination is, as I said, what was written by myself, and ending. Okay, I mean, you can split hairs with me about what the word means. I mean, it's fine, but again, I'm not a gatekeeper for the creative process. If someone wants to sit down and not know where the story's going at all, and I've done this in the past, that's perfectly valid. They'll get to whatever ending they get to. For me, my most effective way of writing for myself is having a destination of some sort in mind. The level of detail to that destination can be less or more. There can be no detail to that destination. That destination could be, I just want the reader to feel XYZ. And then I figure out how to get there, right? We can talk about the word destination and as whatever it is, but the way I do my creativity doesn't have any effect on the way someone else does their creativity, right? So while for me, my most effective writing is when I have some sort of destination in mind, which isn't always necessarily the words of the ending, but some other piece of the ending, the feeling of the ending, or, whatever. I do my best work with that in mind. Like, that's the most effective, efficient way for me to write. But that's just me. I'm just one writer out of millions of writers. So when you ask the question, do you think a writer can, finish a story without knowing what the end is? The answer is yes. Because I'm not the only writer in the world. All right. Looks like Jay fed Pixie again. So we are just moving along on level 21. Swanks has joined us on YouTube. Hello, Swanks. Welcome in. Welcome in. Alicia said, I'm a pantser. I never know where my stories are going in the beginning. There you go. There you go. Swank says, I just came in from reading outside, reading the let them theory. Oh, I was looking at that and I was thinking about grabbing it. I'm interested to hear what you think of it, Swank. Jean has joined us over on YouTube. Hey, Jean. Jean is going to try to write a review if we ever actually get to our sprint. Ty says, your fans or viewers in the best way are truly intelligent and know an end is absolutely necessary. It can be said that all authors are a hybrid of pantser and a structured plotter per se, but one can't be an author if not knowing the totality of their story as well. That's just simply not true. That's just simply not true. Again, again, often especially for pantsers, people who are more comfortable pantsing, when they sit down to write, they may not know the end of the story. It just happens. I mean, I've written stories like that. When I first started writing, that's exactly because when you're first learning how to write, you don't necessarily understand the logistics of writing. You just write. So, like, you don't have to, like, there's no definition of a writer. Writer, the definition doesn't say when you sit down to write, you must know the end of your story. It's just simply not true. It may be true for you. It may be very important for your process, and that is 100% okay, because like the other side of what you're saying, like the opposite side of what you're saying is someone says, well, if you already know the ending, you're not even being creative. You're just writing to a path, and that's not true either, right? So Amelia has joined us over on the tubes. Amelia says, that is the kind of dentist you need. Yes. Absolutely. And Alicia is in the process of finding a new dentist. Macaroni Magpie. Okay, that's an awesome name. Welcome in. Can I call you Mac? I just want to call you Mac. May I call you Mac? If not, I'll call you whatever you want. I like to call you Mac, but I will call you whatever you would like me to call you. Welcome in. Macaroni Magpie says, hello, I'm working on writing some fanfic. What is your fandom of choice, my friend? They also say the great thing about writing is that after you figure out the ending and write it, you can go back to the beginning and tie things together so it looks like you knew it the whole time. Exactly. That's the whole point. When you're writing your first draft, it doesn't even matter really what you put down on the page because eventually you're going to go back and fix whatever you put down on the page. Alicia says, I can attest as a pantser. For me, I never know the end of my story. Sometimes it comes to me as I'm writing. For me, when I'm writing, I'm putting an idea from my brain onto paper. I don't even know the ending, the middle, or what will happen in the story. There is logistics to composition. I mean, yes, but we don't always know the logistics. That's the whole point, right? If writers had to know the logistics or had to understand what their writing process is from the very beginning of writing, we wouldn't have writers. We just wouldn't, because we don't know shit when we start. Well, except for maybe the children of writers, they may know shit when they start, but the rest of us, we don't know shit when we start. So it's really just about whatever works for your brain. If in your brain you must already have an ending before you start writing, then create your plot in whatever way that works for you, and then figure out what the ending is and then start writing. But you can't attribute your process to anyone else because your process won't work for anyone else. Why? Because it's your process. Just like my process won't work for you because it's my process and it works for my brain, and your brain and my brain are not the same. I mean, we may have similarities, but we'll also have differences, right? So if what you need is to have an ending before you write, if that's what you need, do that. But it's not for any of us to say that someone is not a writer if they don't do it this particular way. That's all. Let's see. Sophia says, honestly, I think a lot of people tend to confuse their process for a first draft with what their last draft looks like. Yep. Macaroni Magpies. Sure, there's several streams where they call me Mac. Okay, Mac says their fandom of choice for their fanfic right now is Heated Rivalry. Not surprised. I got the brainworms and abandoned all my original stories to write fanfic. I keep saying I'm going to quit fanfic writing any day now. It scrolled, but it's been like 6 months. That's okay. You've got more days. You can still play in fanfic, and you can do it. You can also do both, right? You can sometimes do fanfic and sometimes do original fic, whatever works for you. Sophia says, first drafts just need to exist. They can even be without an ending, 100%. I can't tell you how many drafts I have, how many times I've drafted something, not necessarily for the ending, but like the end of a scene. I'll be like, put something cool here, for like future me, who will then swear at present me. But for future me, she can figure it out, right? Like, I don't have to have the ending of every single little thing when I sit down to write a story, because that's not the last round of the story, right? Agree with you, Sophia. The ending may not make sense until the second draft or the last one, 100%. Ty says, then everyone should learn, but no one knows. However, in truth, you are correct. Most are expedient. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. That whole then everyone should learn, I think you're referring to like the processes of writing. But again, you learn that as you do it. Because while you can teach different processes for sitting down to write a story, not all processes work with all brains, right? And inevitably, always, every writer has to figure out their own process. They have to figure out their own process. That is the only way to do it. You cannot just do someone else's process all the time and be successful, because that is not going to work with your brain. So we all have to figure out our own processes. Even if we learn the processes, even if we learn how to plot and everything, if it doesn't work with the way your brain works, you can't make your brain be different. I mean, you can try, you can fight against your brain. That never works. It never works. Trust me on that. Alicia says, every writer is different in their processes. I know writers who plan everything out, but I'm a writer who just writes to get it on paper and flush the story out later as I go. And I used to be like that too. When I first started, I was a dyed-in-the-wool pantser. You could not tell me that I needed a plot because I could not do it that way until it took me years and years and years to finish a book. And then I was like, okay, I got to figure something out. And now I sort of plot, and then also my plot goes off the rails halfway through. So, like it's a very fluid sort of thing. Creativity cannot be put into cookie cutter molds that work for everybody, because that's just not how creativity works, right? Creativity is incredibly subjective, and it's personal to the creator. So, saying everybody should learn, that's just that comes across as not being somebody who's actually gone through the process long term, right? It's very easy to latch onto these things, and that may work for your brain. Your brain may need that rigid structure, and that's okay. But not all brains work well with that rigid structure, and we have to work with our own brains. Because, you can work against your brain. You can try to make your brain do stuff that it is not good at or doesn't want to do, but it's going to be a battle the whole way. And Lord knows the world is hard enough. We battle enough shit out there in the world. We don't need to be battling our own brains for this stuff. Okay. Let's see. Han, are you sure you're not talking to an AI? No, I'm not. I'm not sure at all. So, Alicia says, sometimes I don't even write in order. See, I have to write linearly. I cannot not write linearly. I've written chapters that are early in the book. Sometimes I write later chapters. That I cannot do. I have tried. I cannot do it. I can only do it if I know exactly how that scene comes about. If I know exactly how that scene comes about, then I can write it, no matter how far ahead it is. But if I don't know exactly, because if I have to go back in and take some details out and add some details because it's like I didn't know enough when I wrote it, yeah, that's more work than I'm willing to do. Alicia says, I wrote one where I started at the ending and worked my way backwards. So Sean, who is part of TWT, he will actually start at the beginning, write the first scene or two. He'll go to the end, write the last scene or two. And then he'll go back and forth until ultimately he meets in the middle, which I think is fascinating. And I've never done that, and I want to try it sometime, but I have no idea where I would try that. So creativity is cookie cutter. All stories are recycled through combinations spawned from a creative mind, heart, or soul. No, creativity is not cookie cutter. You're simply wrong. Ty, are you a real human? Because I'm curious. Maybe you are AI. I don't know. But no, you're simply wrong. Creativity is not cookie cutter. Even the same stories have been told over millennia, but the stories are different, right? The same like revenge stories, the same love stories, but all the stories are different. You know, so to start at the end is how all works of art should begin. Okay, you're just being ridiculous now. Now you're just trolling. You're just trolling. And the random capitalization. Have I been published? Yes. I have 3 books, 3 novelettes, multiple short stories. I've been a professional editor since 2008 with multiple publishing companies. So yeah, I've been doing this a long time. Yeah, let's go to the sprint. Um, let's yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we can all fight with our new friend in the chat, but I agree with Sophia. We need to get to the sprint. So I'm going to be working on. Oh, I have to actually make a phone call, so I'm going to go off camera while I'm making the phone call in the first sprint. Also, as a heads up, I'm waiting on so I've been playing phone tag with this person all week, and if we're during a break and all of a sudden I look at my phone and I'm like, oh, we're starting the sprint, that's because I'm getting the phone call, because I don't want to miss their phone call because we have an appointment with them tomorrow. So I want to like get some information. All right. Do I specialize in sci-fi, Jean asks. I do not. Sci-fi is actually one of the genres I won't generally edit or write, because it's not something I read. So as an editor, and y'all will start the sprint in just a second. As an editor, I won't attempt to edit a story for money if I don't think I can, if I don't know the genre well enough. And sci-fi is one of the few genres that I won't edit. I also won't edit literary fiction because I don't understand literary fiction as well as I understand everything else. So, yeah, at least you know Alicia is a real person. I do. It's true. All right. Yes. Okay. Let's do it. Here we go. 20 minutes. Let's get into it, y'all. All right, come on back. How'd you do? I got almost all of the right track stuff into the survey. I just have to add the extra panels. I did make that call, but it doesn't, it's a state agency, so it doesn't seem to actually go, like, it always goes to voicemail. So I think that it doesn't, like, I think she just returns voicemails, which is fine. But I'm going to be like stapled to my phone the entire time. I do also want to note that our new friend Ty, it's very interesting that that while that person was in here talking to us, we were getting a bunch of crypto spam in the Discord, which I took care of the Discord. That person is banned now. So I have not as yet banned our friend Ty, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes from the YouTube channel. But I do have the YouTube channel up in the back. So, let's see. Swanks was so groggy. Oop, wait, it scrolled. Hang on. Swanks was so groggy. How groggy were you? They put the coffee back on the stove at 8 a.m. Unbeknownst to me, I had left the burner on. Ouch. So now I have a burned pot with sludge in it. I'm so sorry. That's awful. I'm sorry. Sophia did some world building for her troll story. Exciting. Max says, really happy with the scene I just finished. Yay! Love that. Anita had to do other work, so no vampire story yet. Sad face. Swank says, just put in a frozen pepperoni pizza into the toaster oven and read more. Excellent. Jay says, no words, had to spend the sprint getting screamed at because the agency that they're actually trying to reach won't pick up. I have no idea what that sounds like. This will be the second time this weekend I've been threatened with a lawsuit. Well, I wouldn't worry about it. They don't know how to get your information, so that's not going to happen. And people are awful. People are awful. Mac says to Swanks, burnt sludge. I definitely like my sludge not burnt. Daniela says, my pasta salad is ready. Yay! See, you did it. Alicia got dressed and made lunch for everyone, her and the kids, and may get more. You still see a bunch of spam in the Discord. Huh. Because I deleted, unless I feel like I leave the like whichever channel you're in, leave it and come back. Because I'm not seeing any. So just, if you see any, just let me know where it is and I'm happy to obviously take it out. But I don't see any anymore. Oh, under Administrivia. Oh, yeah, okay, I see it now. Yep. It must have been when I was working on, like, banning him and stuff, and I was using the moderator. So you get these moderator things. You can open this person in moderator view, which gives you a whole different view on the right-hand side. And theoretically, it says to, like, you know, when you go to ban them or whatever, it says delete. You know, you can delete either the last hour, the last 6 hours, the last 24 hours, whatever. And I just hit delete them all, but it didn't actually delete any of them. So I've had to go through and delete the posts individually. And those were the ones that I initially saw. So I took the one out of roles. That must, and so, but I must have, you know, once you go in, it's no longer highlighted as new stuff. So I must have just not. Anyway, so now I'll go through and delete those. Spam, submitting report, because I'm reporting all the ones that, that he posted. So there's not one in events. I did get rid of that. Okay. So I think it was just the two. It was in an, guidelines and role, although they shouldn't have been able to do guidelines at all. So anyway, that's handled. So I don't see the person in question in the chat here. Yes, they clearly left, and that's fine. Whatever. That's kind of the first troll I've had on YouTube, so I guess I'm now officially a streamer there. All right, so I got most, like I said, I got most, like a good portion of what I needed to get done. Since we spent so much time engaging with a troll earlier, let's go ahead and get into the next sprint. I'm gonna finish off the right track, and then I'll do whichever the next one is, and then I'll just move on to DragonCon stuff, just like I did yesterday. All right, y'all ready? Then we'll take a little breaky break after. Here we go. Okay, that's the end of that sprint. How did everybody do? So I finished up the right track and I moved on to the next track, except that track only had about a little over half of their stuff in there. So I sent them an email. I did put in the stuff that they had in the grid into the survey, but then I emailed them and I said, hey, what's going on? They both opened the emails. We'll see which one I get a response from first. So I know they do a lot of collaboration with one of the other tracks, but definitely two of their things already noted that they're collaborations. And so I don't know what's going on with the rest of their track. So anyway, that's where we are. So that's going to be the end of the multiverse stuff I do for today, unless they get me the rest of those today, and then I'll get them in today. So let me cross those two off, this one and this one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. And then the extra little, all the questions we have at the end. Okay. Sophia went to bed. Good night, Sophia. I hope you have a good rest of the evening. Have a good sleep. Jay got words in, not many. Got distracted to work on shoes for a costume. Yay. Kayla joined us. Hey, Kayla. Good to see you. Sorry about YouTube being an asshole yesterday and just like dumping y'all. But it was like 20 minutes or so before the end of the stream. And I was just like, it's fine. Let's just let it go. Daniela ate dinner and finished watching a financial diet video. They're doing a series of interviews with women over 50. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I'm going to go check that out. Let me write that down. Let me find my thing. What is it called? Financial diet. Financial diet videos. Thank you for that, Rec. Always like to see how everybody's doing their money, right? Alicia finished up lunch, is waiting for kiddos to finish before they go do a library run to pick out books. That was my favorite part of summer when I was a kid, when we would go to the library and I'd get to pick out books. Anita finished her unexpected work and wrote 2 sentences. Excellent. My vampire is a stalker and this may not be a tragic love story after all. All right then. All right. Okay, we get a little break. Heather got her most urgent admin done, which was podcast guest DMs, and made some lunch. Excellent. What's for lunch? Kayla's really enjoying the 5th season. I read 100 pages last night and it felt so good. Yay! What genre is that? The 5th season. Okay. We're going to take a little breaky break. So if you need something to eat, something to drink, you need to use the restroom, perfect time to do that. At the very least, if you've been sitting this whole time, please get up out of your chair, move around a little bit. It will help your joints and your circulation and your muscles and all the things. So please do that. Also, first reminder, if you haven't taken your meds yet and you should have taken your meds by now, take your meds. Okay, I have my afternoon vitamins still to take, but I did take them all yesterday. I'm yawning. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Oh, the 5th season is fantasy. Excellent. Good. Love a fantasy. All right, I'll be right back. Y'all be right back. I'm just going to top off my tea, I think, and maybe get an apricot. Okay, I'll be right back. Y'all be right back. Be right back. I totally dig this station, y'all. Okay, let me find the timer, put the timer back on the thing. All right, Jay took their antibiotics. Jay hates antibiotics. I'm sorry, Jay. I always get, if I have to be on antibiotics, I always make them give me a prescription for the pill that keeps you from getting a yeast infection or fixes the yeast infection when it starts, because, you know, that's a thing. Heather also took a medication and had a breakfast burrito for breakfast. That sounds good. Alicia needs to take her vitamins. Meds are for the evening. See, I'm the other way around. My meds are in the morning and my vitamins are in the afternoon. Okay, that's the timer. So yeah, so we're opposites on that. Daniela proofread a poster for her mom, and we'll take a break now. That was clearly difficult proofreading. I love it. What's the poster for? What's the poster for, Daniela? Is your mom going to a concert with you? That would be cool. All right. So I'm going to put away the multiverse stuff. Oh, please tell me she didn't call me while I was... No. Okay. Now I was paranoid because I didn't take my phone with me when I went to get tea. She works in a kindergarten. It was quick. Oh, cute. Yay. All right, so I'm going to be working on DragonCon stuff. I've got a couple emails to respond to that are responses from yesterday. I've got to send a couple more emails. Yeah. So, shall we get into it? Another 20 minutes, y'all. Here we go. Okay, y'all. Come on back. I didn't get anything done because I got sidetracked by I'm going to a local city meeting on Wednesday next week because they're trying to put a data center less than 4 miles from my mom's house. So I was doing some research on that. I've got to get that organized for myself. I don't know if I'm going to get up and speak. I probably will. But I need to get my thoughts in order to do that. So I got sidetracked by just doing some looking around at places I want to, like things I might want to draw from for that statement. So that's what I did that round. I did send one of the Dragon Con emails though first. So, well, actually 2 Dragon Con emails. So there, see, I also did Dragon Con stuff. Okay. Heather says, I love breakfast for lunch. I also I love breakfast for any meal, doesn't matter. I will eat pancakes for dinner. I will eat, I'll make an egg sandwich for lunch. I will have bacon for a snack. I don't even care. I will eat breakfast foods. I will have cereal for dinner. I will eat breakfast foods at any meal. I don't care. And I will die on that hill. Jay says, no words, sadly, sidetracked by working on the shoes. That's awesome, though. That's still productive. I love it. Are these the shoes for the carnival costume? Daniela says, 65 pages left in the historical romance. Would be great to finish it tonight. I think you can do it. Alicia says, I got ready to leave and the kids are taking their time. I'm telling you, just say, I'm leaving now. And like, go out, get in the car, start the car, count to 10. If nobody's coming running out the door, then start pulling out. Seriously. Seriously. Anita says, I spent that sprint describing a human in terms of a meal and my vampire as a gourmet. The life of a horror writer. For real. I actually might work on that short story I sketched out the other day. I haven't looked over the notes since I sketched it out, so I'll go look at those and see if it still holds up. It felt like a good story. Like, you know how sometimes you'll get an idea for a thing and you know that's the right idea for it? Like, that's how this story is. Like, I think I have it as I need it. I mean, I haven't written any of it yet. I've just kind of outlined different pieces of it, but yeah. Kayla says, ooh, we had eggs and pork chops for lunch. So good. Wow, that feels very extravagant for lunch. It sounds yummy. Also, got distracted. We're seeing Masters of the Universe tomorrow. Yay, I haven't been to a movie theater. I don't remember last time. I think the last time I went to a movie theater was probably the Freddie Mercury biopic. And I went to the theater twice for that one. Let's see. Anita says, the vampire's going to gift a human to the Undyne. So yeah, but that's not... that's very much like a man gifting... I don't know, a blender to a woman. Like it's I don't know, or no, like a beer stein or something. I don't know. Anyway, what is the response going to be, Anita? Alicia says that would backfire because they know Dad is home and in his office, but he is busy with work. I'm not sure how that would backfire. Like that information you gave me does not equate to backfiring, because if they really want to go to the library, they'll get their butts outside. Anita says she's carnivorous. It's more like chocolates. That's going to be a romance for the ages. That's awesome, Anita. I love it. Kayla says, we saw The Mandalorian and Grogu a couple weeks ago. Yay, I don't watch those. This whole Star Wars world has gotten way bigger than I'm willing to track. And it's not just Star Wars. It's really the same for any IP that get so big that I cannot keep track of the pieces. It's the same now with Marvel. It's the same now with even Star Trek to an extent. Star Trek's not as bad, but definitely Marvel and Star Wars, I've noped out of those. Although I am going to watch the Spider Noir series on... Is that on Hulu? It's on one of them. I don't remember. Maybe HBO? I don't know. But I am going to watch that because it looks really good. And I love Mia Noir. It doesn't even matter. I love Mia Noir. And Nicolas Cage is in it. So come on now. Let's see. Kayla says, love the movies. I love that for you. I love people who love fandoms, or, different IPs. That's awesome. It's too much for me. Emily says, I'm not a big theater person, to be honest. Also, I know I'm way late on this, but I'd be curious your thoughts on Let Them theory, Swanks. Admittedly, I didn't love it. Felt like rebranded stoicism. Gotcha. Which I feel is a bit of an overly simplistic and privileged position. And in reality, the world is more complicated. Yeah, I agree with you. Alicia says, yay, they're finally ready. I'll be back. Gonna pick up some holds. Okay, Alicia, be careful out there. Have fun. Have fun. Emily says, I don't know. I guess I felt like that book was sort of being used by people to justify being rude to others or ignore issues entirely rather than fight for change. I can see that. I haven't read the book or anything, but I can see how that would feel. There's someone riding a Segway down my driveway into my neighbor's house. He's literally just standing on these wheels, and he just went up. He went down the driveway, around onto their little sidewalk in front of the house, and now he's going up to their door. That was weird. I don't know. I don't know what that is. He's waiting for them to open the door. I'm sorry, now I'm being all nosy. I'm always nosy when somebody comes down my driveway because we're behind the houses on the street. So it's not like people just wander down here randomly. So, and you know me, I'm a nosy bitch. That's how it happens. Okay, Kayla says, Star Wars is a huge fandom now. I totally get that, but it's fun to see a movie, for sure. I'm more excited for Masters of the Universe and Scary Movie 6. Excellent, excellent. Emily says, door-to-door salesperson, but on a Segway. That's exactly what it seems like. I don't know. He's got some kind of a uniform on. He's wearing black, which has got to be, that's got to be killing him, because he's wearing long pants and a black short-sleeve shirt. And it's sunny today in Atlanta, finally. Although it's not hot out. It's currently 81, which y'all, we are having the most temperate spring ever. He's still standing there on the porch. Still just standing there. All right. Ew, Segways. But it's hilarious. I think it's funny watching a Segway because it's almost like it makes me think of the little foot scooters that we had, it's like a skateboard but with arms, but this one doesn't have any kind, not arms, but a hand thing you hold. This one doesn't have any of that. It's just the wheels and the base, and that's it. So I'm I don't know how you stay on that. Because I think as soon as it would start, I would just be falling over and breaking a hip or something. All right, well, they're not. Oh, yeah, they came to the door. They're motioning somewhere up on the street. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm just being nosy Nell over here, y'all. Just being nosy Nell. But I don't have to deal with it because my husband's downstairs, so he's going to be the one dealing with it. Unless they come to the front door. Then we'll see which one of us gets there. All right. Heather says, came back to temperate temperatures. Same. I needed a little something for my bare arms this morning. Right? I did go out. Like I said, I went to the dentist, but I didn't wear a jacket or anything. But it was nice, and I had my windows and stuff open on the drive home. Yeah, now I'm just being nosy. Okay, let's get into it. Then we'll take another little break, and then we'll keep going. Sound good? All right, 20 minutes. Here we go. Okay, y'all. We are probably going to do 2 more sprints to make up for the lateness. We'll take a little break first, and then we'll do those 2 sprints because we've only gotten 1 break today, I think. So, how did you do that round? I got another email. I did a bit more research, and then my brain said, we're done for a little while. So then I watched a couple YouTube videos. So, yeah. But I did, so while I was waiting for the dentist, while I was waiting for my hygienist, when I was in the waiting room, I was reading, I was continuing to read my King Sorrow, the King Sorrow book. I haven't decided if I liked it yet, if I like it yet. I'm like, I don't know, 15% in or 20% in, something like that, probably 15. And I haven't decided if I like it, which is, like, the writing's really good. The writing's always, Joe Hill is always, he's a good writer. I just don't know if I like this story. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think there are too many characters in it. There are too many characters. I have trouble keeping them separate. Let's see. Daniela says 44 pages to go. See, you're going to get it. You're so close. Mac is in reverse mode. Just took a little break, that sprint. Now I'm ready to write again. Whatever works for you, my friend. Whatever works. Swiped played solitaire. Sometimes you just need a brain break, you know? Anita had to go back to the unexpected work. Ugh. So Vampire is in limbo. He'll be fine. He's undead. He'll be fine. All right, let me put 5 minutes on the timer, the red timer. If you need something to eat, something to drink, you need to use the restroom, you know this is the time we set aside to do that. You don't got to do it, it's fine, but you know, this is the time we put aside, so. Also, if you've been sitting this whole time, get up and move your body a little bit. It'll be happy that you did. And also, final reminder, if you haven't taken your meds yet, and you should have taken your meds by now, take your meds. I haven't taken any of my afternoon vitamins. I said I was going to, and I didn't. So I'm going to take 2 of them, and then I'll take the other 2 a little bit later. Wait, I think I saw somebody check in. Wait. Scroll. Yes. Kayla is figuring out some lyrics for their partner's band. It's going well so far. What kind of band is it? That's what I want to hear about. I want to hear about what kind of band it is. All right. I'm going to go get more tea. See if I'm going to keep from running a cat over. Yeah, okay. She's sleeping. Okay. Oh. I kept watching that guy for the first beginning of the sprint, and then I stopped watching, and then I guess he rode his little Segway up the driveway again. So I don't know what happened with that. All right. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. We'll meet back here in 5. I love that music. I love that music. So I went down and I got some tea. And I got a little taro pastry. So Holly, last time she was in Taiwan, brought me back home some taro pastries, which are these. Let me open this up a little bit more so I have a place to put it. Because it's a very thin, delicate pastry that has been like, let me see if you can see it. And it's like little layers, very, very thin layers and almost like a rose pattern. And on the inside is like a mildly sweet taro paste. So taro is like a purple sweet potato. It's very yummy. So I thought I'd grab one of those for myself. Let's see, Jay says, no words, but these shoes are coming out nice. Excellent. I'm so excited to see this costume come together. That's going to be so fun. So, so fun. So, oh, that's the timer. All right. Shall we get back into it? I really hope this lady calls me back. All right. So, what am I going to work on? I'm not feeling the Dragon Con stuff, although I really, really, really need to be working on that. I don't know. Maybe I think I'll go over the notes for the short story. I'm just gonna go over my notes for that and see if it still holds up several days later and not 1:30 in the morning. All right. So we'll do 2 more sprints and then we'll wrap it up. All right. So here we go into the first one. Let's do it. All right. How'd you do? How did you do? Um, yeah, I read over my notes and now I'm letting it percolate in my brain. I'll probably start writing it sometime this weekend. Let's see. Alicia says the library run was successful and kids each got 3 books. Yay! Young readers, we love them. Daniela only has 30 pages left of the book she's reading. Yes, yes. So very exciting. And Starling Dust joined us. Joined us earlier, so welcome in and got 422 words written. Good job, you. Good job. Matt got a few more words written, still a bit distracted, but getting back on track. Huzzah. Anita says, back to work on the story. My vampire is a sick little puppy. All right, I feel like I'm going to read that story. That's all I feel like. Yes, Starling Dust joined it in. Words are hard, y'all. Words are just hard. So I didn't really get very much done. Like I said, I went over the notes that I made, and conceptually it's really strong. It's going to be the details that are going to make or break the story. So, yeah, we're going to see how that goes. If you haven't shared with us what you're working on, feel free to do that in the chat. We've got one more sprint and then we're done for the day. Yes, we are a little late, but that is because I was late starting. I was about an hour, almost an hour late because of a dental appointment. So we're going a little later than usual. So I feel like I should do something my brain is telling me no. And those of you who are around and actually watching the screen earlier in the sprint, my hubby came and gave me a little smooch because he went down for his nap. He went down a little early because we have to, we're cooking together tonight, but I have a call at 7 o'clock. So, it's got to be early enough so that we can actually cook. So, Starling says works for me. Yeah, words are hard. So, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do this round. We'll see. We'll see. My brain is just kind of a little mushy right now, I think. So, all right. Shall we get into our final sprint while our little mushroom guy sings to us? See? He's so cute. All right. Oh, you know what? While I've got you guys, as a heads up, and I will be saying this periodically through the rest of the month, in July, starting the first full week of July, so like July 6th, there will be no sprints from me. Like, I will not be scheduling any sprints for that entire month from the 6th on, because I am taking a very intensive certification course. And the time frame is 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, all, for those 4 weeks. So I'm not really going to be around. I may try to do some Saturday sprints that month, but I'm not going to commit to it right now because it's I don't know how that schedule is going to affect me. So just a heads up. Heather says lots of sharing happened, plus some parenting. Good job. So, all right, let's get into it. 20 minutes. Here we go. Wait, where's my mouse? There it is. Okay, here we go. I got nothing done. Nothing done that sprint. I just putzed around the whole sprint. Did nothing. So, yeah. How'd you guys do? I hope you did better than me. My brain was just like, no, I think we're done now. So I guess I'll be working this evening. So my brain is taking a breather. So, Starling managed another 590 words. Hooray! Look, you even get a cheer. Excellent job. That's some good productivity for the day. Excellent. Daniela only has 12 pages left. Yes. And Daniela says, thanks for sprints. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Jay was distracted by her shoes, but they're really nice. And wrote a sentence. Look, you did both. You did both things. Good job. Good job. Mac listened to music and played some Sudoku. My husband loves Sudoku, y'all. He does. He really does. Anita says, my vampire is closing in on the human that he will be gifting. Uh-oh. Kayla says, thank you for the sprints. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Let me go over the events of the coming week for the Writers Troupe. It's changed. This week is changed a little bit than normal, so we have fewer things, but we still have things. All right, tomorrow I will be doing Zoom co-working, probably at about 1:30 instead of 1 o'clock, because I have, but it depends. So just keep an eye out on the Discord or keep an eye out on the Facebook group, whichever is your choice. Excuse me. And I'll post in both places when I start, if I start earlier than 1:30. I don't know how long this meeting at 12 o'clock is going to last. So that's tomorrow, 1 o'clock, 1:30, somewhere in there, until 2:30 or 3. Then Saturday morning, 10 a.m., we have Discord sprints with Mr. Dalen. That will be 10 a.m. in the voice channel of the sprinting section of the Discord. Just pop in there and he'll be ready to get going. So that goes from 10 a.m. These are all Eastern time, by the way. 10 a.m. till noon on Saturday. Then on Sunday at 10 a.m., we have the Sunday morning write-in with Lisa Raby. She goes from 10 until 12. Then at 12 on Sunday on the Go Indie Now network, I will be on This Week in Indies, along with several other people that you may know. And we will be talking about conventions. So if as a writer, you're looking to get into conventions, being a guest, selling at events, this is the one to watch. So that's going to be noon on the Go Indie Now, and that's INDIE, Go Indie Now network on YouTube. So that goes from 12 till about 1. Then at 7 p.m. on Sunday evening, we have our usual TWT Zoom chat. We have a discussion every Sunday evening about writerly topics. The voting is up in the Facebook group. If you go into the events section, find the Sunday event. Inside of there, you'll find the post where you can vote on the topic or topics of your choice. And you can also suggest a new topic. So that meeting will be Sunday, 7 p.m. till about 8:30. On Monday, I do not think we are doing, I don't think Joe is doing his sprints on Monday. But on Monday evening, again on the Go Indie Now network at 9 p.m., I have my conversation and a cocktail show. And in that show this week, I will be talking to Rachel Taylor Thompson. So you've seen Rachel in the chats, probably. If you're a regular part of TWT events, you've seen her in the discussions on Sunday nights. So I'm excited to talk to her on the show. So that's at 9 p.m. on the Go Indie Now network, Monday evening. Tuesday, we have no sprints or anything. If anybody'd like to jump in and do some, please feel free to reach out and let me know. On Wednesday, I will be doing my usual Twitch and YouTube sprints at my usual time of noon, provided somebody doesn't spring an appointment on me. So that goes from noon till 3. Then on Thursday, we'll do that same thing, noon to 3. Yeah. So there we go. That's the week. That is the week. Let's see what other folks have said. Alicia says, I signed me and the kids up for summer reading program, and I read 10 pages of Throne of Glass. Excellent. Good job, Alicia. Very productive. Max said, yeah, my brain is also a little bit done. Think I'll take a break and get back to it later tonight. I've already gotten 2K written for the day, so I'm in pretty good shape. That's amazing. Good job. Good job. Swank says, thanks for sprints. Thank you. Max says, thanks for sprint. Jay says, when is the con chat again? It is Sunday afternoon at noon Eastern time on Go Indie Now. So go check that out. That's going to be a fun conversation. I love talking about cons. Y'all know that. Yeah, I love talking about conventions. Emily says, thanks for the sprints. You're welcome, Em. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. I hope you get more stuff done today or rest. Whatever you need. Whatever you need. So thank you as always for joining me. Those of you who will be on the Zoom tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all. Bye, 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 bye.